Cameron, you didn't eat very much of your lunch.
On the eve of Valentine's Day, 4 couples in Brooklyn, New York talk about how the recession, job loss, and cutbacks are affecting their relationships.
I used to work for Citigroup. I was a project manager there, and I was released from my position back on May 19th. A lot of people that were let go that particular day. From then until now, I've been unemployed. I had a couple of interviews that went pretty well, but nothing really became of them. It's just been pretty much a dry spell out there. Percentage-wise, I would say my income was, what, about 65–70% of our household.
I never looked at Maurice's manhood according to the salary that he brought in. So that respect has always been there because of his integrity.
When bill collectors call, you know, I have to tell them, listen, it is my intention is to definitely pay, and I do pay, but I have to let them know that I might be late this month.
We're very careful not to buy foolish things. We buy what's necessary. We buy our needs instead of, you know, from out of our wants.
Our priority list is housing, food, and utilities. And then after that is everything else.
The kids, they're so used to going out.
When I was working, we pretty much had enough money where I didn't have to save to plan a movie night. And now we do. You know, we love each other. When we stood, you know, and took our vows, it says for better or for worse. Love doesn't change when the worst times come. And if love changed based on the situation, then it's not real love.
But it doesn't mean it doesn't get tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one Valentine's where I actually made the Valentine, so you know that's where we're probably headed to this time again, where we're making each other Valentine. And it means a little bit more when you make it by hand anyway.
It actually does. I got a card one year with the glitter on it and I love you and
I love you.
Happy Valentine's Day, huh? I love you. Mwah.
What do you want to do when we get home?
Our kids are 4 and 18 months, so I think they're the boss.
All right. Well, at least we have jobs. We're their employees.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
June 2nd of last year, I was a legal assistant at Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns was one of the investment houses on Wall Street. I had been there for 4 years. I was out.
I was Director of Public Affairs at Lifetime Television. The department is actually right now transitioning to Los Angeles, and so made the decision that we weren't going to move to LA.
We had some savings, and the severance money and unemployment is helping. We can make things last.
I think we'd both be very happy to be working, but I think during this time, you know, we're trying to make the most of it. Doing things that, you know, are couple-ish, since we have so much couple time. You know, this is an opportunity. I sound like Sunshine Sally. Peter and I went on an interview together. I pitched us as 2 for 1. So I reached out to her on my own, just with my resume, and she said, well, come on in. And I'm like, you know, by the way, you know, my husband's also looking for work. She's like, well, bring him in too.
And we haven't heard from him since. All the recruiters I've met have... Maybe it's Bear Stearns being on my resume. It's
No.
Do you want to make some Valentines when we get home?
My hope is that we are both back at work in the next 6 months. We're not going to be in a place where we'll have this time together again.
It's been almost a year. I've been looking for a job for a bank. As a man, I feel I have the old-fashioned mentality that the man should work and provide and be a provider for his family. And I'm not doing that because of the economy.
I just don't have any real expectations that he'll be contributing financially until the market recovers somewhat. Billy definitely feels to a degree, he wants to be responsible for his family.
And it really affects me, I think, mentally, emotionally. The whole concept of living from paycheck to paycheck.
The disposable income at this point, is sort of a thing of the past.
My main concern is that the kids eat. That's it. They eat, they play, and that's it. And they enjoy themselves. I mean, they are completely oblivious to this whole economic situation.
I laugh a lot.
You laugh a whole lot. And
and we like to sing the song, even though we ain't got money, I'm still in love with you, honey.
Yeah. And sometimes things you would laugh at, and it's not funny to me, but just she laughs, and it's so contagious. Valentine's, it's pretty much a woman affair. I don't particularly care for it.
Valentine's Day is great.
Well, based on our financial situation, it wouldn't be wise for us to spend money on Valentine's Day, as we usually do. I would love to take my wife out a little bit more.
You will.
Would you mind, babe?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay.
We put our apartment on the market, and it was 2 days later, I think, that Lehman Brothers fell, which we weren't sure how that was going to play out in terms of selling our apartment, which was sort of a key factor for buying this place. So as that progressed, instead of selling our apartment in a matter of a few weeks, it's now been 4 or 5 months.
4 months, yeah. For a while now, I've been consulting at a single client, and that client reduced my hours by 30% in January. We're going to get through this. I don't have any doubt we're going to get through this little bit of a hiccup in our economic situation. And maybe on the other side, we're not going to be as comfortable financially as we thought we were going to be, but it's not like we're not going to be able to proceed. I don't think that's going to happen.
We have a limit on what we can buy without advising the other. So in other words, if I want to go out and buy a couch and it's $1,000, I can't do that.
As a consequence, if as a result of that decision something happens that causes us some kind of hardship, we're in it together. It's not like one of us sort of pressured the other one to doing something. When you're dealing with heavy, stressful things that affect the quality of your life going forward, it's good to sometimes just get silly.
He's Sweet Pea.
Yeah, I have a lot of weird nicknames for Darren.
Yeah, he's a wordsmith, so he comes
Professor.
up with. We were planning to drive off the cliff together,
No, we're not. We're planning to die peaceably in our beds
together
in our late 90s.
Right. Late 90s. I want 100.
He wants to live to 100.
If I can make it to 100 with my mind intact, I'm fine.
If you can make it to 50 with your mind intact, I'll be surprised. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Always.